last week, messed around and got a triple-double. Freaking brothers every way like MJ. I can't believe today was a good day.
What's going on, Car family? How's everybody doing tonight? Happy Sunday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Ready for the work week. So tonight, I've been wanting to make a Facebook post about this, been wanting to write something about this. Not going to have anything in front of the camera tonight. Sorry, I don't have any Jordan or LeBron James cards. But I got to talk about this whole LeBron and Michael Jordan thing going on. I'm a member of a lot of different sports Facebook groups. You see it on social media. You see it on the headlines. You can't get away from it. And personally, I'm getting sick of the LeBron James, Michael Jordan comparisons. So I wanted to go into it myself, and honestly, I know I'm not going to shut it down, but I feel like this is my shutdown opportunity to shut down this argument, and I'm going to try and explain why. But first, I want to give a little bit of background. First on Jordan. I grew up hating Michael Jordan, okay, his entire career. I'm a North Carolina State fan, and Jordan went to Carolina. We were bred here, State fans. We despise anything Carolina. I despised Michael Jordan, okay? I could not stand him as a player in the NBA. I thought he got the benefit of every call. I thought he pushed off on the shot against Utah. I thought it was all overdone, all of that stuff. But all that said, I've always been able to see and respect greatness, no matter who it is. Jordan, Tom Brady, no matter the player. You have to be able to recognize greatness, even if you despise it. So that's just a little background on Jordan. I did watch his entire career and college as well. So he was local. He was from here in North Carolina. So I watched his college games, and I watched him become a pro and watched his entire career. LeBron, a little bit of a different story with LeBron and me. Obviously, I watched his whole career again. When he came out of high school, I was a huge fan of his. Absolutely monster LeBron fan. He came onto a Cleveland team that wasn't super talented, and pretty early on he had them competing, and he was doing some phenomenal things. So I don't know how clear that was, but that was the 2007 East Finals versus Detroit, and that game, I watched it live in person. LeBron goes off in the fourth quarter and overtime, double overtime, I think that game went, and I was sold. I'm like, man, this dude is phenomenal. I was completely on board. Watched them. They I believe they went to the finals and lost that year. And, then came the whole Celtics thing. And, they lost to the Celtics. I was still pulling for LeBron and the Cavs. But when he left to go to Miami, I became a hater. And there's still plenty of them. There's a lot of them. So I was a hater. When LeBron was in Miami, despised him. I didn't like the whole leaving to team up with another team. I thought it was awful. I thought it tainted everything. I thought it ruins the NBA. And, then he comes back to Cleveland, still not completely on board until the first series against Golden State. And that was the series where I think Kyrie and Kevin Love got hurt. And I just watched LeBron put this team on his back and the way he played. And yes, they lost. But I finally came to that. Remember what I talked about with Jordan? I came to that point of, okay, I'm going to recognize greatness here. And I'm recognizing it in LeBron. Fast forward a year, they get down 3-1 to Golden State in the finals and go on this monumental run. LeBron puts up stats where he leads the playoffs in every category possible. You can't deny, at this point, I'm saying I can't deny this is the best player in the world today. He's dominating the game of basketball. There's no one on his level right now. Kevin Durant's good. Westbrook and Harden. I'm sorry. There's nobody in the world right now that is good as LeBron James. So I was kind of with him, against him, and then I was back with him. And now I'm in this interesting position where, man, with social media, people say such stupid things. And, even today, with the game today, the Cavs lost, that LeBron haters are using that one game to, boom, that justifies my argument. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. But on the flip side, these folks that are the bronzexuals, they call them, divisional rounds don't justify your greatness either. And so I wanted to get into the meat of this and talk about the GOAT and, what separates the GOAT, what makes a player the GOAT. But I wanted to give my background on the two players first. So I'm going to break this down into three things that I think separate these two players. Number one, the era they played in, which for one is why I'm sick of the comparisons. I don't think you can compare players or eras, but we'll get into that. Two is stats, and I hate to do it, but titles. You can't not talk about titles and talk about these two players. And three will be legacy. So first of all, let's talk about era. And I know this is running long. I apologize. Only if you're really interested in this subject are you still listening, because again, there's nothing here. I wished I could have done some like fish in a bowl or something, but I didn't have anything. So let's talk about era. I just pulled up two random, well, not random, but I pulled up the height of Jordan's greatness, which I'm calling 92-93, hit the third championship of his first three-peat versus the NBA this year, 2017 and 2018. And a huge, huge stat that I need people, and something that I need people to understand when you're trying to compare players. In 1992 and 93, teams in the NBA, on average, per game, made 3 out of 9 three-pointers per game. 3 for 9 in 92-93. As a team, per game, that's what teams average during the regular season. Now, 2017-2018. Any guesses? Anybody got any ideas? All right, so remember, they were 3 for 9 in 92-93. In 17-18, the average, teams are making 10.5 out of 29 three-point attempts. Does that resonate with anyone? Why the game might be different now? So they're making more three-pointers now than they were attempting in 92-93. Could that possibly change the way the game is played at all? Okay? Slightly, maybe just a little bit. The game is completely different than it was those years. A couple other things. Think about Harden and Westbrook. James Harden this year averaged 30 points, 9 don't know if it was rebounds or assists. I think it was 9 rebounds and 5 assists. And, of course, Westbrook was 25, 10, and 10. Why do you bring up Harden and Westbrook? These are 25, 10, and 10. This is the second year in a row this cat has averaged a triple-double. Russell Westbrook, okay? And he's being dogged as they were eliminated from the playoffs for being, what he is. This is Oscar Big O territory. This is incredible statistics, okay? The game has changed. So I want to keep what these guys are doing in perspective when we talk about what LeBron does. And I love LeBron, but you have to look at the game today. The game is different. I hear a lot of people talk about illegal defense and what illegal defense means to Jordan and his ability to score. But I also think about it like this. From 79 to 2002, teams could not play zone defense. So you had to man up on someone. It was man-to-man defense. You could double, you could triple, you could 5-team someone, but you had to go straight to that double team. There was no in-between. So what that meant was the NBA was primarily a one-on-one league at the time. Yes, teams ran plays. Yes, they ran pick and roll. So did even the Bulls. And the Bulls and Jordan's actual power were a total, the triangle offense. But Jordan was asked to be a one-on-one scorer much more than LeBron is. So, and Jordan, in my opinion, is and was the best one-on-one scorer ever the world has ever seen. And he was perfect for that role and for that time. LeBron, in this new age of zone defenses, is the perfect assassin for that. Because he's a good offensive player, obviously. He can pass the ball, he's big, he can rebound, all of that stuff. Therefore, his peripheral stats are better. We'll give it to him. Jordan didn't play in that era. Jordan wasn't forced to face zone defenses, so we never will know how Jordan would react to zone defenses. Okay? Secondly, and this is a big one. Jordan, 9 times in his career, played 82 games. That's a full season. He played 82 games 9 times. Jordan played 82 games in his final season, and he was 39 years old, and he played 82 games. You know how many times LeBron has played 82 games? Once. One time. And it was this year. We're in the NBA now. Players take off so much. Players routinely don't play. They have games where they just rest. It's become a little bit of a thorn in the side of the NBA. Fans go to see games. They go to see the players play. They're taking a break. They're not playing. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is the league was about the grind back then. It was tougher. You played every game. You didn't take games off for a cracked toenail. You didn't miss a game because your shorts got too tight or whatever it was. It was a different game back then. I'm not necessarily saying it makes Jordan better, but what I'm saying is that each player was perfect for each era. And I think the two different eras make it impossible to even compare the two different players. All right, second bullet point, and this is one that I really hated to go to, but I have to, and we'll hit stats first. Something that Jordan did that LeBron didn't was Defensive Player of the Year. All right, he was 87, 88 Defensive Player of the Year. So this is the league saying, hey, you're the best offensive player, and you're the best defensive player. Yes, I know LeBron has made all defensive teams, but never been named Defensive Player of the Year. And LeBron's not a bad defender, but he rises to the occasion a lot of times on defense. He takes some plays off, to say the least. We all know Jordan, 10-time scoring champ. He won a national title at UNC, but what you cannot take away, or what separates these two, is Jordan going to 6 finals and being the MVP of 6 finals and winning all 6. Whereas LeBron goes to 8 finals. 8 finals. That is incredible. But it was also incredible that the Buffalo Bills went to back Super Bowls. But they lost. Who cares? I'm sorry, Bills fans. But really, they lost. So, even if James beats Boston this year and goes to the finals this year and loses and goes to 3-6, then what? They keep winning the East, and I've been the staunchest defender of Cleveland. People say, oh, the East is easy. I don't think either conference is necessarily that easy. I think LeBron's just really good and gets them to the finals. I'll give him that. But, man, you can't keep losing. And then you pull up 2011. So you pull up 2011 versus Dallas. LeBron in that series. All right. This is the finals. 24-20, 17, 8, 17, and 21. So there's a 3-game stretch where he goes 17, 8, and 17. This is a guy that people are calling the GOAT in the finals. He has a 3-for-11 game in the finals with 8 points. And we know, if we watched it, he wilted in the fourth quarter. I know it was just one game or one series. I know it was before he won the other series. But let's be real. He only wins the series in Miami because of D-Wade, Bosh, Ray Allen. He had to leave to do that, which I'm going to get to that in a second. But that series against Dallas, and I was a hater at the time. That looks bad. That looks bad on your resume to be the GOAT. And I'm not saying Jordan never lost. Jordan obviously lost in the conference finals and divisional playoffs. Sure he did. But when you get to the finals and you're calling yourself the GOAT and you score 8 points and you lose, that's tough. And I can't sit here and say the Mavericks were a better team. So now I want to get to my final and what I think is greatest point. Sorry for that little piece of nostalgia, but I wanted to share those clips because I want to talk about legacy. And I need people to understand, and especially people that didn't watch his career, okay? Michael Jordan was a cultural phenomenon, okay? Michael Jordan defined a generation. Michael Jordan was part of our culture. He was like Michael Jackson. He was bigger than basketball. He was more than the NBA. You know, this guy, and this was before he ever even won a title. Okay? So, and I think that's one of the biggest things to understand when you're talking about GOAT. It's not going to be just about stats. It's got to be so much more. And Jordan brings that to the table. So with his cultural impact, you know, understand that Jordan, you know, when you talk about his legacy, he comes into the league as this heralded young gun offensive player. He joins a ragtag team, and they're not very good, but, you know, he does get them to the playoffs. And when they get to the playoffs, they don't win, but he's getting them there, and, you know, he's doing his diligence. He's dropping 40 and, you know, going up against the likes of Larry Bird. The Celtics, one of the greatest teams of all time, were the first hump that the Bulls had to get over. So they finally get past Boston, or you could even say Boston got old. You can say that. Maybe Boston got old. But then they had to get through Detroit and the bad boys. Detroit that won back-to-back NBA titles. Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Mark Aguirre, Rodman, Sally, Lambeer, Mahorn, Vinnie Johnson. Those Detroit teams were good. They were great. And they were all out to stop Jordan. And Jordan and the Bulls battled and battled and battled. I think they lost 2 years in a row in the East Finals to Detroit. I'm just going off memory. Seems like 1 year, you know, it was the Jordan rules. They would hack Jordan anytime he got close to the basket. They tried to break Scottie Pippen. It seemed like Scottie Pippen was complaining of migraines and breaking down, and, you know, but finally on that third try, they beat Detroit. So they stayed the course. They stayed the course. Jordan stayed the course. He didn't quit. He didn't go to another team. He stayed with the Bulls. Yes, he had a sidekick. He had Scottie Pippen, who during all that time was developing. Scottie Pippen didn't come into the league as a Hall of Famer. He came into the league as almost a role player. They had Pippen, Horace Grant, good rebounder. The rest of those guys, total role players. Paxson, really? Who else? Will Perdue? B.J. Armstrong? None of these guys were all-stars. And they toppled their demon. They toppled Detroit. They go to the finals. And then what? They beat Magic Johnson and the Lakers. That's a legacy. That is the way it has always been done in sports. And then they win again and again. Of course, the retirement, he comes back. I'll admit they built a super team, but I can't argue with the results. They continue to win. 3 more titles. 6 for 6. That's his legacy with the same team. And understand that he defined, I want to call it my generation, but because it's not, I'm kind of a hybrid, been a part of two generations, but he was a cultural phenomenon. He was more than basketball. And this to me is what makes him the GOAT, was staying the course, winning that title, where he won it, and how he won it. That, holding that trophy, laying on the floor, getting champagne and water and wine poured on him, crying, because he earned it. You know, whether or not he had Pippen or not, nobody wins a title without somebody to help him. The people that say that, oh, he had Pippen, nobody wins a title without somebody. Okay, and I'll admit LeBron wasn't given a lot of help his first go around, but he bolted before they really had a chance. Who knows who might have developed alongside of LeBron. So then, let's talk about LeBron's legacy.
The question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, it's very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat. That was the conclusion you woke up with this morning.
That was the conclusion I woke up with this morning.
Why?
Like I said before, I feel like it's going to give me the best opportunity to win and to win.
Down here to win championships. Not one, championships.
Not two.
LeBron, tell us about that.
Not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven. Hey, and when I say that, I really believe it.
So that's LeBron's legacy. And let's remember, when he left, he was leaving a Cleveland team that, regardless of whether you think they had talent or not, they were coming off 2 years before. They were 66-16. They made it to the East Finals and lost to Orlando. And the year LeBron left, they were 61-21, first in the Central, and they lost in the semifinals to Boston, which we've had a player or two come out and say LeBron quit. A lot of people theorize that he quit, but he left. You know, now, was it a team of all-stars? No. Wasn't a great team. I get it. But who knows, you know? That's his legacy. You go to Miami, what do? They go to the finals and lose. And they finally beat OKC. I believe they won another one. They lost. We know the rest. And then he starts basically just moving around, going to, you know, the best team, or the, you know, where's the best situation I can go to win? Where can I go that I can win? That's why he's not the GOAT. That is not a legacy. That is moving to different situations to give yourself the best chance to win. Whether or not Jordan had great players or not, I don't care. Jordan didn't go to different teams to give himself the best position to win. Jordan beat the Knicks, the Pacers. He didn't join Reggie Miller. He didn't join Patrick Ewing or the Pistons. It's ridiculous. So I know this was super long. If anybody made it through this, kudos to you. This really probably isn't for even my regular folks that watch. More so just these people that are perpetuating this ridiculous friggin' argument. Stop it. LeBron is great. He is the greatest player in the game today. He does not transcend basketball. does not revolutionize basketball. He's not bigger than the game itself. He's not Michael Jordan. He's great for this era of basketball, which is not the era that Michael Jordan played in. And I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm not going to go back to the I walked to school in the snow type thing. But they're both, like I said earlier, they're both perfect for their era. But Jordan's legacy will always be greater than LeBron's, and there's no way LeBron can change that. It is done. It is cemented. It is over. The only way LeBron can change it, here's one way. Stay in Cleveland and win 6 in a row. Win 6 in a row, and you're to go. And I don't know what y'all are going to do if he loses to Boston other than say, oh, he doesn't have anybody around him. Okay. Anyhow, that's all I got. Appreciate y'all watching. Keep it real. I'm out.